That theme tune gets in your head, doesn't it? I'm sitting here and after the stream's finished, it's still playing in my mind. It's one of those bits of music, I think. Good afternoon. Welcome back to all our wonderful, lovely, beautiful patriots right across the world, wherever you are. Good afternoon on this Tuesday, the 6th of February. Let's hope it's going to be a good one. We got lots to get through today. You have me to yourself this afternoon. Danny is winging his way back to Spain the long way. He's on the ferry, 30-hour trip. Richard is still rather unwell after the weekend. I think it took its toll in him. Our good friend Liam has caught the flu. I think there was a bug floating around at the weekend and a lot of people seem to have picked it up. Yeah, MJV, how's Richard? Yeah, he's not too bad. Spoke to him this morning. Still a little bit worse to wear. I think it's age, to be honest with you. He just doesn't want to admit it. But yeah, no, he's not brilliant, but he's okay. Let's have a little look here. 11:30 p.m. in Australia. Good day, folks. Aussie Neil, how you doing, mate? Lovely to see you. Thanks to everyone already in the room. Still lots more piling in as we speak. Now, what we're going to do later on in the show, I'm going to invite some of you guys onto the screen. Come and join me. That will be happening a little bit later because we're going to discuss, I've got 10 things that you can do actively to help us win back our beautiful country. Now, probably one of the most commonly asked questions that people send to me is, how can I help? How can I get involved? What can I do? And I've come up with a short list of 10 things that you can definitely do to help us on our way. And it is only through sheer weight of numbers that we can hope to get ultimately what we want. That's coming up a little bit later in the show as we warm up and we get a bit of a full room. Just over 1,000 people watching already. Please give us a thumbs up before you do anything else. Thank you so much for that. Few things to get through before we get started properly. First of all, the horrible event in Sweden that took place the other day, a mass shooting. Now, if we're to believe what we're reading in the newspapers this morning, and I've got no reason to disbelieve it, this guy, a white guy, probably a Christian, has run amok. And allegedly, he was shouting out something about getting rid of all foreigners. And I will call that hideous, horrible, odious crime out just as much as any other terrorist attack. This is what the real far right does when they become insane. Just like any other group that commits an atrocity. And we mustn't differentiate between them. They're all the same. They're all mad. Anyone that wants to hurt another human being and go on a shooting spree in a school or a college is start raving radicalised bonkers. And I don't care what colour or religion they are. Anyone that does this absolute vile behaviour beyond words needs to be called out and said for what it is. So I just want to get that out of the way because there have been people that say to me, "Oh, you don't mention it when it's a white Christian guy." Well, I do, because to me, terrorism is terrorism. Sick, as Donna says, sick in the head. Anyone that wants to do that, sick in the head. And obviously, you know, I don't like saying our thoughts and prayers go out to these people because it's a bit of a cliche in it, but every single one of those people that were killed, shocking. Paul, is there proof that he's a Christian? Euphemia, I don't know. At the end of the day, that is what we're reading. I'm repeating what we're reading in the newspapers and online. So, you know, That's what I'm doing. But it appears that way. If it's not, then we'll find out. Stephen Stewart says the real far right not welcome here. Absolutely. And this is the danger. This is the danger when these groups start calling ordinary regular people that went to the event on Saturday, labelling them as far right. You know, let's get it right. If we're going to be sensible here, we will call out the real far right, and they have to stop calling people like myself and you guys watching now as far right, because it's just complete nonsense. Diane says, my dog recognises your tune, Mayers and Jeff, and outspoken. He was glued to everyone walking when we watched the march. Ah, bless him. Do love a dog. I mean, if you don't love dogs, there's something wrong with you, right? Greetings to the Brace people of the UK from Israel. Good afternoon. Thank you very much. Someone having a little dig at the King here. Alien Intelligence Agency. The King is nothing more than a fancy dress party. He won't help. About time he did, isn't it? Turtle Dove. Sick is sick, no matter your colour. It's just not as relevant as the other. Donna, everyone's lives matter. Exactly. What a lovely bunch of people we have on this channel, right? 70 AD, what is far right? Do you want my definition? Do you want my definition of far right? My definition of far right, although it might be perhaps a little bit loose in some respects, is people that hate other people because of their colour of their skin or their religious beliefs, or they're anti-Semitic, just for the sake of it, just for pure hatred. People that are believers in a superior race. To me, that's extremism. That's far right. But that's not what, certainly not what I believe in. I am not an ethno-nationalist. I know some people that watch my channel may be. That's their prerogative. You know, people of all skin colours can be ethno-nationalists, but it's not my sort of thing. So that's Sweden out of the way. Blasphemy laws. Look, as far as I'm concerned, the only thing this bloody government should be worrying about right now is looking after our kids and making sure that they're safe, protecting our children. Where are we today? Thursday. Earlier on this week, we had, I think, 3 schools locked down all of a sudden in the Clacton area. Have absolute definitive proof of that happening. We've had a 15-year-old boy murdered at school. Kids facing metal detectors when they go in through the school gates. And the government are putting a 16-man strong, man-woman strong team together, a council, to deal with blasphemy laws and religious concerns. Honestly, who cares? We could do with a 16-person team to deal with safety on our streets, safety at our schools more than anything, and bloody knife crime. That would be a place to start, wouldn't it? And yesterday, a former Royal Marine, Jamie Michael, you may have seen the video that I posted late last night, was cleared of causing or trying to cause racial or religious hatred. And he was cleared in 17 minutes by the jury. And I touched on this last night during the video. It's absolutely outrageous that this person ended up in court in the first place. The CPS had a chance to drop this case before it got to court, but no, they went ahead with it. And the jury just threw it out. So, you know, what was the point in them being there in the first place? Leroy is unsubscribing. What did I say, Leroy? What don't you like, mate? Let me know. Nuts bolts 1,319, but it's nearly 2,000 now. Only 473 likes. Smash that like button, please. Leroy, I'd be interested to hear what I've said this morning that's upset you, just out of interest. I will stand by everything I said, but I'd like to know, always interesting. Jackie, there is no far right, only far left. I mean, look, Jackie, I think I know what you're saying. There is a far right, but it is virtually insignificant in this country. I mean, I think you could probably fill a couple of phone boxes with them. Whereas the far left are a completely different kettle of fish. Afternoon, Sharon. No relation, I hope. Help if I unmute myself, wouldn't it? Paul, I lived in Sweden, and the amount of bullying and harassment towards the Swedes by the Muslims was like nothing I've ever seen. Davey, I'll read that out again because I think I might have been muted. The government has taken away all of our rights, yet they have only just started, my friend. Beetlejuice, if you want change, stop working, stop paying bills. Trouble with that one, mate, is that everyone's got to eat, haven't they? Let's have a look. Any updates on our Tommy? A friend of mine did manage to see him yesterday. He said that he was in reasonable spirits. So we know that as of yesterday he is healthy at least. But there is a lot going on with his legal team, I believe. I can't talk about that at the moment. I'm not in a position to be able to reveal what's going on, but I believe there is a lot going on. Davey, again, thank you. America should liberate us. We liberated them 250 years ago. Sue, I truly worry about Tommy's mental health. Absolutely. Because it's now got to the point where it's torturous, isn't it? So look, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw open the chat in a minute. Oh, sorry, I'm going to throw open the stream in a minute. Going to invite you guys to come on and have your say. I'm going to start going through the 10 things that I've come up with that you can get involved with to help us and help fight our cause. And these are all peaceful, legal, decent ways that you can get involved. Because as I said right at the very start of the show, probably the most common question that people ask me is, how can I help? What can we do to get involved? I want to get involved. I want to help. What can we do? Now, it's not as simple as I think a lot of people mean, how can we come inside the movement and help from within? That's quite difficult because obviously people have to be vetted. You know, we have to make sure that we're not bringing some nutcase, inside the group. We have to be very guarded. But there are a number of things that every single one of you can do out there. Let's have a look. Torchman. Sorry, Paul, but I don't love dogs and find it insulting that you suggest that means there's something wrong with me. Not very free speech and thought with that, are you? Yeah, mate, look, everyone's it's tongue in cheek, right, for me. I have another joke that I say, if you don't like football, there's something wrong with you. Well, there's plenty of people that don't like football, right? So don't take it personal. But for me, dogs are almost next to kids in their innocence and their loyalty, their unquestionable loyalty. And it's a shame that, if you don't like dogs, it's a real shame because they can be, for me, the best companion that a human being can ever have. They're loving, they're kind, they're loyal, they're faithful. They never argue with you. What's not to like? But that's your choice. But don't take it too personally. Let's have a little look here. Leo Ella, I left the UK 10 years ago because I saw this coming. And at that time, I had 3 daughters. Where did you go, Leo? Where did you go? So let's get into 2,367 people watching. Always a bit quieter during the day, which is not too bad because it means the chat is a bit slower, doesn't it? Stephen John, member for 6 months. Thank you. Can Tommy have a voice coach visit? Good one. Anyone watching now, right, that, you know, sometimes doesn't like what I say, you got to bear in mind, look, I can't please all the people all the time. Anyone expects me to be able to do that, that's unfair on me. John Rankin, big up to everyone that stayed to the end on Saturday, the February the 1st. I've never felt could be like that in London. Yeah, it's a great day. Julie, Starmer is the worst PM ever. Talk about state the bleeding obvious. God, when he just. Little bit of an update on the .gov petition that I applied for on, I think it was the 27th, 28th of last month. I applied to launch an official .gov petition, you know, those ones that gets debated in the House if they get 100,000 signatures. Normally, I believe it takes a couple of days to be approved. Well, unfortunately, it still hasn't been approved. They're still checking if this petition is meets their standards, and I'm not holding my breath, which just goes to show you the sort of thing that we're having to put up with. Hi, Claire Bear. Hi, Ian. My lovely mods. Thank you very much. Don't forget to give me the thumbs up, guys. He didn't like my definition of far right. Oh, well. There you go. Let's have a little look. Leo, yeah, we now know we are only right. That's it, exactly. Abatha, can't please everyone. The far right is actually the so-called religion of peace. I agree with that. I think the biggest display of far right, genuine far right behaviour and belief is on Saturday afternoons in London with the pro-Hamas supporters. Depends on what you class as far right. Exactly. Extremism. I mean, I think either far left or far right, really, it's all about extremism. An extreme belief that the vast majority of people would disagree with. Anyway, let's put that to one side. We've all got our own opinions on that. Let's get into the 10 reasons or the 10 things, that you can definitely do and you can do today to help fight this cause. First of all, and this one is an old one, you need to sign the pledge. The link to any organisation and all the things that you're going to need is in the video description below. So I've made it nice and easy for you. There's 2,600 people watching this show right now. Now imagine if you was to follow these 10 things that you could do, think how that would snowball. So first of all, sign the pledge. Secondly, Ben Habib and his friends recently launched the Great British Pack, which I am firmly on board with. Tommy's team have backed it as well. The link to the Great British Pack, again, is in the video description. Join the pack. That's the second one. Both the pledge and the pack are free to join. Third thing, join the Free Speech Union. I think we saw from Jamie Michael's acquittal yesterday. Joining the Free Speech Union is very, very important. I'm a member of the Free Speech Union. There is a small cost to that, but I think anyone that uses social media on a regular basis may well be advised to join the Free Speech Union. So that will help as well. Number 4, register to vote and get your friends to do the same. I've had a conversation with someone this morning who has become involved in what we're doing. They're moaning and groaning, whining and everything else. They're probably watching this video now, so they know who they are. I told them I was going to grass them up. But I was on the phone to me this morning, whining about everything that's going on, and they're not registered to vote. I said, are you for real? Come on, get your act together. Get out there and vote. Get out there and register to vote. Now, the link to the .gov website to register to vote is in the video description below. There's 2,634 people watching as I speak. Now, imagine if just 10% of those people are not registered. Go register, and more importantly, once you've registered, check that your family and friends are registered. If they're not registered, help them. That's how you can help the movement. That's how you can help win back our country. We can do it, and we will do it via the ballot box, but only if people are motivated enough to vote. That's the first thing. And they've got to register to vote, obviously. And you can even, as I say, you can set up little groups, but please make sure that you register to vote. Number 5, attend any of our properly organised and properly announced rallies. That's number 5. 6, write to, or probably easier, to email your MP and the mainstream media and tell them about your concerns. Stop watching the mainstream media and boycott their advertisers. But a lot of people get frustrated when I talk about emailing MPs. They think it's a waste of time. And look, in all honesty, 1 or 2 people here and there writing to your MP probably is a waste of time. But if they get, again, I'll go back to there's 2,700 people watching this stream now. Imagine if every one of those people watching writes to their MP this afternoon. Call it out. If you see bias, call it out by writing to your MP, emailing your MP. Get your local MP's email address, and every time you see something that concerns you, pester them. That is what they're there for. 7th on my list is educate your friends by turning them on to social media. So I was with my mother and father-in-law yesterday. They're getting on now. The father-in-law's 93. The mother-in-law is 90. And they don't have anything else other than what you would class mainstream media. They don't have the internet. So that's a real tough job to get them onto social media. But most people out there have Wi-Fi, have the internet, they have the facility to watch all the Patriot channels. So educate your family and your friends. Get them away from the mainstream media and get them on to social media. And anyone that thinks that's a waste of time, look, Sky News are on their way out. They are not going to be around much longer. And the reason they're not going to be around much longer is because they just haven't got the viewers anymore. Ian, thank you very much. English Realist member for 10 months now. Wow, thank you. Paul, is there anything planned for St. George's Day? That's from Epic 2000. Not sure yet. I don't know if there's any other groups organising anything. I don't know. But as soon as I hear about it, I'll let you know. Kathleen Bell, Paul, what was the petition on you want to get approved? Okay, so it's releasing Tommy, releasing all non-violent political prisoners that were arrested last year. Abatha, thank you. I think Keir the Traitor Starmer of the, I can't read that word out, I mean Labour Party, or maybe I was right first time, has made a French-style revolution inevitable now. No matter how much we don't want it, it's coming. Ooh, OMT, thank you. I sent freedom of information request for general location of people known to prevent who have interest in school attack. Happy to share the reply. Spoiler, they didn't deem it of public interest. Wow. How could it not be of public interest? Davey says real Muslims left countries with Sharia law. Now it's here. What next? I'm not sure. I don't know. I mean, I've never done any polling. I wonder how many Muslims live in the country. And, you know, people get fed up with hearing expressions like this. But there's no doubt that the vast majority are peaceful. But I wonder how many of them would actually like Sharia law themselves. I wouldn't imagine deep down it's as many as people might think. I mean, that's why they've come here in the first place in most instances, I would guess. Who knows what they think deep down. Simon, we need a Trump in the UK. Boy, oh boy, don't we just. Thank you, Alan. Appreciate that. Cheers, Stephen. Appreciate that. Good afternoon, Cy Harris. Thank you very much, my friend. Epic 2000. Cheers. Thanks for doing this, Paul. Action is what matters at the end of the day. Supporting the Free Speech Union, voting the pledge, etc. It's not enough just to watch YouTube videos and talk about it. We must all get up off of our backsides. Absolutely, Epic 2000. That's a great message, and that is why I'm doing this video this afternoon of 10 things that you can do right now to get involved. So where are we? Number 8, organise groups to vote together when the time comes. So when the time comes to voting, get onto your family, your friends, your neighbours, all those that you know are going to be voting in the right way or will be prepared to vote the right way. I don't suggest you take any Labour voters to the booth, but there you go. But, you know, gather all your friends and your like-minded people together and get them help, give them a lift, organise a group, get on Facebook, organise groups, get down there and vote, because that is the only way we will win this. Number 9, this is a really important one. Do not allow the schools to indoctrinate your children. I've got a couple of friends this week. One has pulled his little girl out of school. I won't go into the reason why, because he hasn't given me permission to do so. And another friend of mine has had a problem at a school, and he's gone down to the school and let's just say given them a piece of his mind. Now, a lot of our kids are coming home from school with all this woke nonsense and religious stuff that's being pushed down their throat. Don't just sit there and swallow it. Don't just be angry. Tell the school that you're angry. Tell them that you're not prepared for your child to take part in some of the lessons that they're trying to ram down our children's throats. Do not let schools indoctrinate your children. Call it out. And finally, and before I get on to the final one now, I'm going to throw the link in the chat. If you want to hop on today and challenge me on anything, you're more than welcome. If anyone wants to come on and tell me why they weren't happy about what I said earlier on, come on, you'll be more than welcome. As long as you're polite, we can have a sensible discussion. The link is now in the chat. Let's pop that in again. There you go. You should be able to see that. Luna Jewel, no offence taken. I don't like football. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just a joke, isn't it? JJN, pure unconditional love from dogs. Yeah, absolutely. Claire says, dogs are the best. I adore mine. Helped me through losing my dad and my mum. They absolutely do. I've been a dog lover all my life. German Shepherd, lovely dogs. John, Paul, how cold were your feet on Saturday? Mate, I thought they were going to fall off at one stage. So the link is in the chat there. If anyone wants to come on, have your say. You can challenge me about whatever you like. I don't mind. All I ask is that you keep it polite. So number 10, oppose bias wherever and whenever you see it. So when you see bias, anti-British bias, call it out. If you see it on TV, get onto that particular TV station, email them, write to them, moan about it, tell them you're going to boycott their sponsors, because this is a leaf out of the left's book. This is what they do. As soon as they see something they don't like, they are on them like a ton of bricks, bullying them, emailing them, telling them they're going to phone up the people they work for and get them cancelled, etc. I'm not suggesting that you stoop that low, but you have to call out. You have to call out bias whenever you see it. Brian, let's have a little look. I'll be back with you in 1 sec, Brian. Let me just change my setup here so that I can get 2 people on board. 1 second. Bear with me. There we go. That's better. Brian, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Brian, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Paul.
What's on your mind, Brian? Brian's seems his camera is off. Let's just remove Brian there. Brian, if you want to pop back on, you're more than welcome to. Let me just put that in the chat. Anyone wants to come on this afternoon and have their say, the link is in the chat. English realist. There will always be Kevins and Karens, people who take a joke as a serious dig at them. Yeah, it's not a serious dig. Crafty Lair, democracy has died. King Charles, WEF. I saw someone in the chat earlier on asking me to talk about the WEF, or yeah, I think it was the WEF. I'm not quite sure what I can say, really. I mean, I think we all know how we feel about it. Here we go. Another keyboard warrior unsubscribing too. All mouth, no action. Well, Jason, I'll tell you what, mate. You tell me what I should do. There you go. See you later, Jason. Euphemia, we have free speech here. Do you mean on this channel or in this country? I think hopefully you got free speech on this channel, but even on here, we have to be a little bit careful what we say. Paul's watching from Thailand. Good afternoon, Paul. Alan York, agree with 99% of what you say, Paul. Keep saying it as it is. I'll do my best. Paul, anything right of left is far right to the far left. That's a good way of putting it. Absolutely. Let's have a little look. Is that Bobby? Bobby, how you doing, mate?
Yep. Hello.
I can hear you.
Hello, okay? Paul. How are you?
Yep. All good, mate.
I'm great. I'm great. How are you, Paul? Nice to see you.
And you, mate. What's going on? What's on your mind, Bobby?
Yep.
Oh, you're just breaking
it's
up.
Just a little bit jerky. Yeah, I came on Saturday.
Bobby, I'll tell you what, your reception is not very good. Bobby, if you can hear me, your reception is not very good. You might want to get into an area.
Hopefully should be all right. It's jerking a bit. But yeah, what's on my mind? Hoping you can hear me. Give me a second, mate. Okay, let me come back on again.
Okay. Bobby's reception there is not too good. Kathleen, always my petition about, freeing political prisoners. Sylvestrus Grump, SNP lost me with the trans madness and Muslim PM. Let's got another guest there, Jatinda. Let me see. People having trouble getting on today, it seems. I'll put the link in the chat again. Jatinder, if you can hear me, your device is not connected. It's telling me here. T1000. St George's Day will be renamed the Far Right Day. Jack, I want that petition approved. So do I, Jack, but no luck so far. I mean, normally I believe it takes a couple of days, but not heard anything from them. Alba, most teenagers identify as cats. How will that work? Vote reform, people. Most teenagers identify as cats. Yabba cat, can you hear me? Vote reform, people. Most teenagers. Yabba, all I get in there is feedback. Maybe try again in a second. Bobby, is that any better?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's better.
That's better, mate. You got a phone
Oh,
reception now. So
all right, fine.
You was there on Saturday, was you? What did you make of it?
Yeah, it was fine. It was good. Obviously, last time it was nicer because it was warmer, I suppose. And but I mean, yeah, pretty much the same. Everything went well, no trouble, nothing. Everyone was pleasant, gentlemen. You know, everything was great like that. Yeah, I mean, just go on.
I think the only thing that spoiled it for me, quite honestly, was the cold. It was, it's horrible, really. But there you go.
Yeah, it seems to have caught a few people out and made them a bit ill and that, right?
Yeah. I think there's a bit of a flu bug going around. So, you know, overall, was the crowd as big as you expected? Bigger? Was it what you expected?
It was a little bit smaller, but I think it was just it seemed a little bit more segregated. I think before people kind of knew to just go to Trafalgar Square or whatever after.
Yeah.
So that kind of helped the big stage in that. But generally had a good time in that. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah, managed to see Richard. That's about it.
I hope you didn't get too close, otherwise you might end up with a cold or a flu.
I did. I managed to shake his hand and that, and say, "Yeah, Richard, I'm here." That's good. But okay, look, let's talk about some of these other things. Like, let's talk about this one, Sharia law.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I'm just gonna put a bit in, right? Just, I'm not going to explain the whole thing, but just some kind of, let's say, understanding of it, right?
Yeah.
Let's say we've had like a lot of these crimes and these extreme crimes that have happened here with the children, with the other attacks throughout the years, whatever, right? Now we're in a situation where, let's say, the government and the authorities, security is not able to protect us. So now people are getting, let's say, angry, right? And people want to do something about it to protect themselves, protect their children, protect their families, everything, right, in their areas. And then the issue is power is taken away from out of the people's hands, because obviously the most we can kind of do is like protest, voice our concerns, write letters, emails, and try to do things the right way. And this is the frustrating part. So I think Sharia law, in a sense, opens that barrier a bit of like, if there's kind of, let's say, too much, I wouldn't say oppression, but there's something's out of sync. People aren't happy, and they may kind of express themselves, right?
Yeah.
Now, here, when let's say these pedophiles, whatever, they've done their things. With Sharia law, if people were allowed to, let's say, enact local justice, we may be able to get these kind of people, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But if the community can't come together and, let's say, support security, authorities, police, whatever, and try to marry the two things together in a sense, so we can get rid of these kind of people, it's going to be difficult for it to work, you see. So I mean, with Sharia law, it kind of opens up that thing. Let's say if you're, let's say, a Muslim believer, of, let's say, protesting and even in occasions where if you've actually been, like, if you're in a corner and you have to fight your way out, you can do that. But these things all been manipulated and playing sides against each other, you see. So let's say, for example, those backlash riot thing that happened under all the miscommunications from the government and the fibs. Yeah,
Yeah.
that could have all been avoided with clearer communication.
Oh, absolutely, it could have been avoided. Bobby, I'm going to have to move on, mate, because I've got so many people waiting.
Sorry.
No, you're all right, mate. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Let's have a little look who's next. Yabba, let's see if we can... Yoba Cat, can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, Yobo Cat, can you hear me?
Hello?
How are you? Good afternoon.
Ah, you're there.
You're
Hello.
here, you're live. What's on your mind?
Right, okay, so I've read Tommy Robinson's book.
Mm-hmm.
Big delay.
What, on The Voice, you mean?
No, there's echo. Look, I've got echo back, and I've got delay.
I'm going to have to, sorry about that, I'm going to have to lose you there because unfortunately I can't help you with the techniques on a live. Good afternoon. Holistic.
Hi, Paul.
How do I pronounce that first name there?
Aoife. It's Aoife.
How are we doing? What's on your mind?
Paul, I want to say, firstly, thank you for all the work that you do. I haven't managed to come down. I have been fighting every virus you can name. I've just got an underdeveloped immunity. So being around people, I would end up in hospital. But Paul, what I want to say is, obviously my heart's broken over Tommy. I've talked to him personally or on Twitter some time ago. And I'm just so grateful to you for coming on board and supporting him, supporting this movement and getting people out there. You are one of the nation's great heroes. But I don't agree with the gentleman, Ori Sharia. I don't want it in the UK. My mother was born here with my uncle Dermot 71 years ago. I'm a nurse, Paul, turned holistic wellbeing therapist, counsellor, etc. And all I want to do is, again, like you, unify people. My grandmother came from Latvia. She was a nurse. She fled the Red Army. You know what I'm talking about when I mention Red Army, and that's as far as I'll go on that subject. But I'm despised in Ireland because I come from a family of international people from around the world. Our house has been firebombed. Our house has had, you name it, eggs. We've had people tell us they were going to kill us because of the amount of international people in our family. And I've been rejected of all of the Irish spaces on Twitter because I'm deemed not Irish enough because Granny came from Latvia. My ex-husband is from Pakistan. The only reason I'm not with him, obviously, is DV. And I'm not going to go into any further details on that. But I want to tell you, Paul Thorpe, you are a hero in my eyes.
Oh, no.
Thank you.
That's very humbling, but thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. I'm sorry, the sound is quite difficult. I can hear most of what you're saying. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. And
okay, well, as I said, my name is pronounced Aoife.
Say that again, sorry?
Okay, so my name is pronounced as Aoife, EEFEH. So if you think like
Aoife.
the B, and yeah.
Aoife, got it. Thank you so much. Come on again when the line's a little bit better. Thank you so much.
I think, Paul, you might be getting throttled by the government. I'm sorry to say, but I do think the government are interfering with your feeds.
It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me.
But listen, thank you for the time. Yeah, no worries. Thank you so much, Paul. Appreciate
God
it.
bless you. Bye bye. Let's have a look. We got oh bless her. We got Darren up next. Darren, how you doing, mate?
Hello, Paul. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I've got a lot of feedback though, Darren.
Oh, okay.
So you're gonna have to, if you could turn your audio down, please.
Yeah, just going to say, it was lovely to see you last Saturday, you and Maya and that. It was cold though, wasn't it?
It was very, very cold.
Yeah, it was, cause I don't know if you noticed, but there was a lot of us streaming on Saturday on TikTok, and TikTok Live. And when the Indian lady was on giving her speech, and I had my account closed down, locked down for 7 days. Loads of us did. We were just streaming live, and it's just disgusting. Like, you know, while she was talking. I was standing next to a couple of old ladies. I was just at the front of the stage on the left-hand side, and there's a couple of ladies in the wheelchair doing the same thing. And all of a sudden, everyone was like, "Oh, what's going on? Our phone's gone off." And a lot of people getting cut off. Did you notice that at all?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. The phone reception all day Saturday was bad. But to be fair, I was in London on Friday, Thursday and Friday, and the phone reception in London was awful all weekend. So I don't know what was going on, whether it's deliberate or not, I don't know. But a lot of people were having trouble getting connected. I've actually given up on trying to go live on those days because the reception is so poor.
Yeah, it's
absolute joke. Darren, I'm going to have to let you go, my friend, because there's terrible feedback. Thanks so much for coming on, and goodbye to your furry friend there. All the best, mate. English for all over is next. Good afternoon. What's on your mind, my friend?
Well, I'm watching from a country probably a long way away from where I should be. I left the UK in 2016. I've been an English teacher traveling Asia for the past 9-10 years, and I only recently found you on YouTube and some of the others.
Yeah,
I'm shocked to see the downward spiral of the country. I'm shocked by it. Really am shocked. And you having even today, this live that you've got, it was perfect at the start, so that maybe there is something going on with it. I don't know, but it's very strange. But anyway, so I left in 2016 and I was homeless. I was living on a food bank. How is it in 2025 we have 18-year-olds, ex-servicemen living on the street, and that's acceptable by the government? How is that acceptable? Every country I've lived in Asia, even China, I lived in China for 5 years. I saw very few homeless people. The infrastructure is so much better. And I know it takes a lot of slating about the way it treats certain parts of the community. But believe me, Asia is more developed than the UK now. And I'm shocked by it.
Yeah, I think, look, I was driving around yesterday looking at just the state of our roads. I mean, there's one road in particular. And I thought to myself, there's got to be better roads in Cambodia than there is in the UK in some places. I mean, it's absolutely outrageous, the state of our roads, just as a small example. But when I look at society in general, we have neglected everyone. We've certainly neglected our own people. But look at the money we're sending abroad. Look at the money we're sending to Ukraine. And then Zelensky admits that a large portion of that money has gone missing. Exactly. And that's money that we're sending abroad. Now, look, I'll help anyone. Like most people, if someone needs an hand, you give them a hand, right? But ultimately, we just seem to have completely lost our way as a nation. We're not bringing our kids up right. We're not bringing our kids up with the right morals, with the right backbone, with the right spirit. They have no spirit, a lot of our kids today. When I walk around in Brighton and look at and I don't mean to be disrespectful, when I look at the state of some of them, look like they haven't had a bath for a fortnight. And my generation was so the opposite.
Paul, I'm 52. I've watched you for a while now. I've got no idea of your age, but I'm 52. So I'm not really, really old, but I'm not really young. But I go into schools and these kids, they treat me with respect. And I'm not even from their country. We have the kids in our own country who have no respect for the teachers. Why? Because their parents don't teach them the principles that we were brought up with.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it is as simple as that. And when you look at the people above us, the government, just every time there seems to be a different problem with whoever's in charge of the company, be it Boris, be it Sunak, be it Keir. It doesn't matter which one it is. They are only looking after themselves.
They're all as bad as one another. I just want to pick up on this message. Paul Sparcone, my opinions are very different to yours, Mr. Thorpe. Paul, honestly, mate, pop on. The link's in the chat. I'll pop it in again there. Let's make this interesting. Let's have a spicy
Yeah.
afternoon.
Paul, I'm always happy that you allow anybody with any view to come into something. But like the guy just said about TikTok, I did a video about the man that is inside because I don't maybe get blocked on YouTube or whatever. Okay. And I've only just come back to social media after a year and a half because I stayed away from it. And as soon as I saw what had happened to him, and I've been watching Tommy for years and years and years, and I've known he's no racist. How is it acceptable and to say that he's not a political prisoner? He's not someone that's been used as a weapon, if you like. And I do not think, and I know you supported Reform and Farage at one point. For me, they're all after themselves. It doesn't matter which group you go towards. But it's about I guess it's about choosing which one's going to be the worst in 4 or 5 years' time.
Yeah, exactly.
But will the country last that long? I'm looking at it now and thinking to myself, the country could be bankrupt in 3-4 years. How is it, Paul? I'm not an intelligent man because I used to teach boxing, okay? And I moved away from the country for various reasons. I've been divorced. I've got 2 boys that live there. But how is it a man can look at the system and see people that haven't paid into it? So how's the system going to last?
Yeah.
Whatever country I go to, I have to have health insurance. I have to pay into their tax band. If I don't, I'm in trouble. We allow people to come into our country, or I say our country because I don't live there, but I have a choice to come back to the UK next year or stay where I am.
Why would you come back? In all honesty, why would you come back?
I pay $250 which is about £200 to rent an apartment. Yeah, I earn maybe £1,400, £1,500. So I'm not on a great salary, but I don't survive. At the moment I'm traveling. I've been traveling for the past 4 weeks. If I came back to the UK, I'd go back to living out of a food bank. Yeah. Living in a caravan, living in a tent.
Oh, mate, the cost of living.
You'd be crazy to do that.
Do you know what, mate? I got my electricity bill this morning, right? I got my electricity bill. The last one I paid was £875, and that was in November. Now it's only the start of February. I've just got another bill for 900 and something quid, and half my house runs on gas. So I mean, you know.
How is it, Paul? In the heat of the summer, when it's 46 degrees and I've got my aircon on, 24 hours a day, I pay at most 25 quid a month.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But it's exactly the same. We're using exactly the same thing, electricity. But why is it everybody pays through the nose there? Where does that money go to? Why is it? I cannot get my head. I'm a simple guy and I do not understand. One, nobody pays into the system. So how's the system going to last? 2, how is it I can pay for an apartment for exactly the same size as London, but for a tenth of what I'd pay in the UK? Yeah. That's why you're right. So many people have left the UK and they're not going to come back. They're not going to come back because of the price of living.
Yeah, we're all being ripped off. We're all being ripped off.
It's not because they don't love the country, because everyone loves the country they were born in, but it's not the country I was born in now. I can see that coming outside, I can see it. It's not the country I was born into.
Yeah,
Paul,
absolutely.
You've got probably loads more guests.
All the best to you, mate. Thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for the honour of getting to see you in the flesh.
My pleasure, mate.
Speaking with you.
My pleasure. All the best. Have a lovely day. Crafty Cockney is next. How are we doing, mate? Long time no see.
How you doing, Paul? Can you hear me okay?
I'm very well. I can hear you perfectly.
Well, the reason you can hear me perfectly, I tried to set you up on the computer and it just didn't work, mate. So I've gone back to the phone and the earphones, mate.
Yeah, the phone works well. What's on your mind?
Oh, everything, Paul. I mean, I was there Saturday. I mean, what a cold day. I mean, I've never felt cold like it, Paul. By the time 4:30 come, I had a tremble going up my spine and I just had to get out of there, mate. It was painfully cold.
I was ready to go at sort of 3:30, 4 o'clock. I'd frozen myself to the core. I think I had to get in a microwave to defrost. But no, it's still a good day though, wasn't it?
It was a good turnout. It could have been better. It could have been better. I mean, we can fill football stadiums up every Saturday, can't we, with men? But ask them to stand up for that one day, give up that football match, come down and support something worth supporting, Paul, and you can't get them to do it, mate.
Do you know what? That's a really, really good point. I've often thought that myself. When you look at the attendances over the country at the football stadiums on a Saturday, and then you look at the attendances on something that is far, far, far more important, it's soul destroying. But
it is, and I kept saying, I mean, it's hard unless you get an aerial shot, Paul. You can't see how many are there, and it's hard to judge. But we've still got the same commitment from everyone and new people there. I mean, I met so many good new people there. I wasn't in good health that day, and a few of them stood. A guy called Gary Swords. I'll say his name. He might be listening. He stood by me all day and kept me on my feet. Yeah, there's good people out there, Paul.
Absolutely.
As for everything else, Paul, I mean, it's the same. It's like watching the Emperor's New Clothes.
Yeah.
I can't explain it any other way. All we're seeing is propaganda and lies, and we're all supposed to sit there.
Well, the media at the moment, they've been in overdrive, haven't they, for months now? They're in propaganda overdrive, lie overdrive.
Well, do you know what made me sad? Friday night, I paid to see Farage, North Essex. I went up. He was doing that show up, doing this the conference up in Kenny Badenoch's county. So I paid my £11 or whatever and went up, supported him. Okay, took me morphine, loaded up with morphine in the morning, Paul. Got myself down there on the sticks to support Tommy. I'm not going to let the snow in the middle or the static from the propaganda get in the way of who I support, because actually we're all going the same direction, mate. Yeah. And now with Trump in charge, hopefully he'll put his foot on Starmer's throat. You know, he's playing with him at the moment. You know, he's doing all right. He's a good boy. But sooner or later, the shockwave's going to hit him, I think. Trump will get him on his own, I think, and read riot. And how Starmer handles it, I don't know. I don't know if he's got the gonads to stand up against Trump. But he's a snake, isn't he? You're not dealing with a normal man, Paul.
It doesn't appear that we are, mate. It doesn't appear that we are. I mean, yeah, I agree. I would like to see. I'd like to see Trump get hold of him and really give him a piece of his mind, mate. I'm going to have to let you go because we've got other guests waiting to come on as well. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a great day. As always, good to see you. Jake is up next. Jake, good afternoon, my friend.
Oh, hi, mate. Yeah, so where do I start, really? It's to keep it short, because a colleague, my partner, she's actually was on the queue before me, but she hasn't got a camera, so maybe you bring up the people with the camera first. No, she was just in the queue, that was all. Okay, cool. So I'm working with the mother of the case in North London, known as the Hampstead cover-up, if you know it, Ella Gariba.
Right. Yeah.
And it's something that we really need to just get. We really, like the man that was abroad saying before. Oh, so I got a cut on my finger. I had to get my nail removed on at 4 o'clock in the morning in hospital. Yeah, he was saying why the price is so high in England. Why he can't understand the corruption. You have to look at the Companies House fraud, which is based on Finchley Road. One of the properties which had, I believe it was into the hundreds of thousands of properties of fraud shell companies where they're laundering money. The Companies House fraud, I wouldn't know where to start. I mean, there is just so much information. The ex-policeman Gary Waterman, if you've seen his stuff. Gary, what's his name? Someone Bridgen, the MP.
Andrew Bridgen, yeah.
He's talking about the trafficking through fraud airports where they're bringing in children. They're sacrificing children. They're ritually killing children, and it was based around a school in North London, Christchurch Primary School, C of E Church, but the C of E has been heavily infiltrated by satanic agenda, if not formulated from the off. We don't know how far this goes back, whether it's 100 years, 50 years, or 1,000 years. We don't really need to know that, but these children spoke out with verifying, collaborating testimonial, whereas these forced retractions after 12 days did not correlate. There's medical reports of scarring that was then tried to be refuted, to confirm a medical doctor. Really tried pushing this.
Jake, will you do me a favour, because I'm not up to speed on what you're talking about, if I'm completely honest with you. It sounds very, very interesting. Can you drop me an email? Let's have a chat, and then what I'd like to do is maybe get you back on the channel when I know a bit more about it, and we can discuss it properly. But I don't want to go into this blind. Does that make any sense?
It does, yeah. I've got loads of the paperwork regarding the police reports, the social care reports. Is that the most important bit in many ways, because it gets to the end of it, is the CCRC Criminal Case Review Commission that were upheld against the interviewing officer, saying that he appeared to lead the retractions, which then totally refutes any of the fake family court hearings that occurred since, which it never went through just a judicial process through Barnet. It went straight to the Royal Courts of Justice within 4 months of the original cover-up police report. But I'll send you all this. I've got all the documents. But
if you can do that, if you can do that, then we can have a discussion when I'm better armed and I know exactly what I'm talking about. Is that okay?
Yeah, good stuff, mate.
Brilliant. Right. Thank you so much for coming on, mate. All the best. Thank you very much. We'll speak again soon, hopefully. Right, let's get through the rest of the supers. James Rooney, wish you did more of these lives. No pressure intended. Thank you. Davies, too many still got heads in the sand. Oh, ain't that the truth? Tony, hi, Paul. Was there Saturday? Just joined the Free Speech Union. Silver membership. Keep up the good work. By the way, if anyone thinks there's anything in that for me joining the Free Speech Union, nothing could be further from the truth. I just recommend that all of you guys do join. David Green, appreciate that, mate. Sean, hi, Paul. Good to see you last Saturday. Good to see you, Sean. And Graham, thank you very much for the super sticker. That is the end of the supers today, guys. So, yeah, going back over those 10 things that I spoke about. All the relevant links that you need are in the video description. It's a shame that the gentleman who has opposing views to mine, very opposing views to mine, didn't come on. I understand. You might not want to show your face. I get that. But it's a shame because, look, I'm always willing to listen to someone else's viewpoint. If someone can prove me wrong on any point, I'm happy to go, do you know what? You were right. Because if you prove me wrong, that means I've learned something. Yeah, that's the way I look at it. Let's have a little look. Right, not sure when we'll be back next. We will be back soon. That's for sure. But again, I say to you, please make sure you sign the pledge. Make sure you join the Great British Pack. Make sure you join the Free Speech Union if you can afford to. It's not expensive. And make sure you register to vote. All of those links are in the video description below. Bosky says voting only gives an illusion of freedom of choice. Not really, mate, because look, because so many people perhaps felt like that at the last election, that's why we got Labour. Now, if another 4 or 5 million people had been bothered to get out and vote, we wouldn't be in the position we're in right now, would we? And there is no other way out. Right, thank you so much, everyone joining us today. Sorry the connection with 1 or 2 of the live guests wasn't as good as it could be, but it's always pot luck. We will see you soon. Take care. Have a great weekend. And as always, make sure you look after those beautiful children. See you soon, everyone. Thanks for watching.